Alright, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to my thoughts on Atelier Rorona, the Alchemist of Arland. This is I don't know, it's an RPG, but at the same time it's it's pretty light on the RPG. So yeah, I'll just say it's a JRPG because it's pretty similar to one. So, this is Atelier Rorona. It's I don't know, like a 2-year-old game now. It was recommended to me by, I know him as Richard, but he goes by like Key of Reason, King of Clubs. He goes by many names on YouTube. He has like a couple accounts. But he hyped the game up a little bit for me, so I was curious to check it out because I noticed that there was 3 games already in the series on the PS3, and since the PS3 is lacking RPGs, I figured I'd give these ones a try out, see what they're like. But so yeah, let's give it a try. All right, so starting off with story. You basically play this girl named Rorona. She's like a, your average teenage girl stereotype. She's basically the, what do you call her? She's the shy, happy, stupid one. She's like someone's making an angry statement at her. She's like, "Oh, that's mean. Wow!" Like she says a bunch of stupid shit like that. She's always happy, makes the best out of every situation. She's never really sad. When she is, she's the cute sad, like everybody's like, oh, that's cute. But yeah, she's your pretty average main character, or really main female character. But basically, in the beginning of the game, a knight from the kingdom comes to your workshop, and he's like, well, your alchemy workshop is being shut down. Tell your master to come to the castle and get the details and all that. So you're like bugging out, trying to figure out why, and your master is introduced. She's the genius who doesn't really give a fuck type character. She wants to have fun. She doesn't really care about being serious. So she's always basically trying to make your character freak out. She's always like, no, she's one of those people, She's really smart. She's really talented. She's kind of like controlling things behind the scenes, throughout the entire game. She always does these fucking things that piss me off, where she'll be like, she's about to expose some plot, but then she's like, maybe we should talk about this in private, and then the screen goes black. Like every time. It happens at least like 12 times, man. Like every time there's a story development. You're about to figure out this relationship she has with the knight. Oh, black screen. It's kind of annoying, but maybe you can find out more about that. I don't know. But yeah, your master has no part in it. She's like, you go do it, figure out what's wrong. You figure out that the alchemy shop is being shut down because you're not producing enough revenue or whatever for the city. So you basically go back to your master. She says, I don't really care, you can take over the shop and do it yourself. And you're given the task of every 3 months you have an assignment. You're supposed to complete the assignment to keep the shop open for 3 years. So you end up having, I think, 12 assignments. And they're pretty easy usually. Usually you'll get the recipe right in the beginning of the assignment. It'll say like, create the amulet of, or not the amulet, like the crystal of Arland, which is just this big crystal that is pretty easy to make. You make it, turn it in. Each assignment is based on like how many you bring in, the type of item, and the quality of the item. So they kind of mix it up a little bit. They'll give you some rare items that you have to go farm and stuff, and it's okay. It's an okay story, but it's definitely the weakest element of the game. It's very average. Like there's no shocking revelations like, you were betraying me this whole time, and like nothing like that. It's pretty lighthearted, pretty much. All the characters are pretty nice to each other. You got the knight who's very serious. You got the boy chef who's super passionate about his work. You got the best friend who's a what is it, yandere? They're like, oh, I don't care if you like me, but they secretly like you, and it's I don't know. It's a bunch of stereotypes, pretty much. The story itself, though, I mean, it's not nothing to like buy this game over, but it gets the job done. It's nothing crazy. I guess there's like 5 endings too or something. But you can build friendships with other characters and stuff like that. It's okay. I wasn't really expecting much. So I'm gonna disapprove of this story just because it was average, if not less than average. But going into gameplay, man, this is definitely the milestone in the game. Not the milestone. What the hell is that? The is like the shining part of the game. You know, it's the part that brings you in. Alright, so as I said before, you're given 3 years to basically keep your shop alive, and every 3 months you're given a new task. Let's say task 2, go find a like let's say you have to go find the resources to build a cannon. Yeah. You got to build a cannon and a barrel. You bring those to the guy. He'll be like, that's not bad. Make sure you bring in more or higher quality. Bring in more. They basically usually give you like 90 days to come up with the stuff to make it, and of course throughout the game and stuff you'll encounter different events like since the game takes place over 3 years, you'll see the fair 2 times in a row. Yeah, I don't think that you see the fair for a 3rd time, but every couple of months you'll be introduced to a new character who can of course become your party member. By the end of the game there's like at least 8 party members I think. But yeah. I'll get into the game now. Basically, you have 2 portions of the game. You have the town, and then you have the outside of the town areas, we'll call it. The town is basically a hub. It allows you to go to different areas outside. But from the town, it's basically this overview where you can select which area you want to go to. Each area is very small. You have like your workshop, which is where you do all your crafting. You have the town hall, which is where you get new missions to help out the town and turn those missions in. And then you also, inside of that place you also have the place where you turn in your assignment items. And then you have the marketplace, which is where you can buy resources, which aren't as good as ones you'd find out in the outside of the city, but they get the job done. You have those. You have the blacksmith where you can buy new weapons, you can buy new armor, you can buy new resources from him. You have the restaurant where you can buy food items. It goes on basically. The city's not big, it's not too small. I like it, it's the perfect size. You can't get lost in the city, but at the same time it gets a little repetitive going to each area to make sure there's no event there. There's no indication that there's an event, so that kind of bums me out. But yeah, like I said, the city's basically where you get stuff done. You get quests there, you turn in quests, you get items, you craft, you level up your friendships with your friends, you meet new people, and so on. But what happens though is you have to go outside of the city eventually to do stuff. Once you go outside the city, it's basically like the overmap of the city. You basically have a bunch of areas you can select. You go to that area, and then you explore. Usually anywhere from 1 to I'd say 8 areas in the zone or whatever. And these areas are very linear, very small areas that basically have harvest points along the road. So let's say you're just like walking around the road, kill a couple monsters, pick up a bush that gives you 3 berries and 3 flowers. Bam. You can take those back into your alchemy shop and store them or whatever. As for the gameplay, like the RPG elements, I said in the beginning it's pretty light. I mean, geez, for the first like 9 assignments, I never even came close to dying. It's very basic, very basic. You basically have you're attacking, you have 2 partners, you have a skill. The skills don't require mana or skill points, they require your HP, which is pretty nice touch. And you basically get equipment that affects all of this, and I was very impressed with the crafting system in this game. Basically, you know, I'll get to that. But yeah, you use the outside areas to pick up resources. You can develop some of your friendships out there. You'll get certain cutscenes, like when you're traveling from areas. Pretty basic stuff. I approve of gameplay. I will note one thing. This game takes place over 3 years. I wish they did a little more with that. Like maybe the character's outfit would change, or their voices might get a little different. Nothing really impacts the game very much over the course of the 3 years. It's kind of a bummer. And I thought they brought in a lot of new areas and features pretty often. It doesn't keep the game boring or anything. Like throughout one assignment, you'll probably get introduced to a new area. You'll get introduced to new recipes, stuff like that. But yeah, I approve of gameplay. It's pretty fun, especially near the end. It starts picking up pretty hard. As for the sound, the OST is pretty average stuff. You know, it's very. It's not quite fantasy, but it's like upbeat fantasy. There's a lot of harps and a lot of like flutes and accordions and weird stuff like that. But the voice acting is very good. They've got like a big cast of voice actors I like Johnny Bosch, we got Laura Bailey, we got Carrie Savage, we got Liam O'Brien. It's got a very good cast of voice actors. I approve of sound. It's pretty good. As for my likes and dislikes, the crafting system in this game is... that's basically what this game is known for, is being a crafting game. And they do a good job of it. Every item has stats, like, let's say this ore you picked up has +1 complexity, +3 attack power, +5 HP. Each of those things affect the item that you're crafting. So let's say you put that all into a sword, and then you combine that with a cloth. The cloth could also have 5 different stats that could affect it. And it's a very complex crafting system that you can customize and tweak very perfectly to like make really cool armor and stuff. I like the crafting a lot, and it came in pretty useful actually when you're doing a lot of the later game killing like high-level bosses and stuff like that. As for dislikes, I mean, I didn't really have any dislikes. It does kind of get a little repetitive when you just keep pooping out the same items, leveling it up. Usually what I'd do is at the beginning of the assignment, I'd finish it off really fast and then just use the rest of the assignment months to raise money, level up my friendships, and basically just go explore the world. Alright, overview time. Alright, so this is a pretty interesting game. I think it's definitely worth a run if you're into RPGs and you're looking for something different. If it's cheap, definitely buy this game. It's definitely worth like anywhere from $10 to $25. It's a good 20-hour RPG to just play through. Yeah, with that said, if you made it this far, you're pretty cool.